Iceland has a higher visibility at MIPIM this year, is making a big splash. Why is it, do you feel, a good moment to promote Iceland?
It's always a good moment to promote Iceland, but I think we're really at kind of the cusp of the rest of the world catching on to our values of sustainability and innovation and progress, and which we've been working on for a long time, if I might say so, and just at a moment when that's something that's particularly important for the industry nowadays. We are here to talk about the different projects that we have going on that are building on long traditions in that area.
And let's talk a little bit about those projects, or what specific opportunities should investors here at MIPIM or in general be paying attention to in Iceland?
There's lots of different things. There's very long-term development project going on around the Reykjavík airport, which is going to expand that as we have a lot of different tourism things. There's an entirely new development that is taking place within the city limits of Reykjavík, the capital city, and you don't see that very much. That there's a really kind of comprehensive new structure that is going to be taking place. If I recall, I think 13,000 people. We're not a huge city, so that's very impressive. But then there's a lot of other side projects to do with Grundartangi is an area where there is using energy being developed. We have a biodome, so there's a lot of different things for people, and I would encourage everybody to come and check it out.
What do you think people should know about Iceland that they may not already? Because people would associate it with volcanoes, tourism, geysers. What is the undiscovered Iceland that in particular the business community should be thinking about?
We do have volcanoes and geysers and beautiful nature, but that makes us adaptable and that makes us quick on our feet. And so I think what people might not realize is exactly that we have this population that speaks excellent English, highly educated, incredibly connected, and running on sustainable energy. So all of our heating resources, for example, and electrics are provided by renewable sources. So really environmentally friendly, and then building on this natural traditions to be inventive and sustainable and creative in our solutions in this industry.
So the sustainability has been a big focus, I know, for Iceland for a very long time. How crucial is that in terms of the political direction of Iceland, and is there buy-in across the board? And what does that mean for the development of green energy in Iceland?
I mean, it's absolutely one of the things. The government has a policy to be carbon neutral by 2040. And to me as well, this word sustainability doesn't just apply to environmental sustainability. And as I've talked about, almost all of our energy needs are met by renewable sources. But it's also a question of values. We also are the world's country that's closest to closing the gender gap, for example. So you have a really active and engaged workforce that is maybe more diverse in some senses that you would see in other areas. And that is all part of sustainability, and that's all part of the country's kind of goal for progress to really make sure that everybody has an opportunity to contribute in the best possible way.
There's fast growth in Iceland in the population, but also visitor numbers. Is that hard to cope with, and what challenges does that bring?
Well, challenges is not a word that an optimist uses. An optimist uses the word opportunities. In the real estate sector, obviously, like a lot of places, we need to develop those areas in the capital region and in other regions around the country to develop things for housing. But there's a long-term plan in place when it comes to tourism, as you mentioned, for example, which encourages people. People think we have so many tourists, but they get spread out longer around the year, and so you don't actually feel like it's a over-touristed country in any way. So I think there's a lot of opportunities right now in Iceland.